My kids are about to go to college, and I found out that they're not really interested in studying in tech. Am I disappointed? I don't think so, not at all. I'm just quite curious how come they never developed any interest in it. I mean, was it my fault? I actually sometimes feel awkward whenever people ask me, "Oh, you're a woman in tech. Are you teaching your daughter how to code?" I don't really know how to answer that. So sometimes I just say, "Well, I think she likes hardware more." My kids have pretty much seen me in front of the computer writing funny words on the screen, basically all throughout their childhood. I mean, all their life. I'm thinking maybe that scared them a little bit, because they've never really asked me, "What are you doing?" Not even once. I tried to show them the source code of Facebook once when they were kids, and they just said, "Oh, cool." And then they ran back to whatever they were doing. After that, I don't think I've ever really tried again. It's like, oh, okay, they're not interested, fine. Because I also know many techie parents who like exposing their kids early in tech. It's like they go to programming boot camps or they teach them how to code. And I think that's fantastic. But I just never really got around to doing that with my own kids. I was more interested in what they were interested in. I'm just really trying to understand what they like. I know that's not easy. And what I'm really keen in knowing right now is helping them figure out what they're interested in. Because they also don't know. Nobody knows yet, 100%. So I try to, just observe them. What are they spending a lot of their time on? What are they so curious about? What are they trying to learn? What frustrates them? What is it that they want to spend their time on so they can, do it really well? Is it cooking? Or is it photography? Is it writing? Is it public speaking? Is it listening to people and trying to solve their problems or helping them solve problems? So I think if they've showed me anything at all, that they were interested in what I was doing or interested in coding or even interested in how their gadgets work under the hood, I guess if I sense just a little spark of curiosity, I think I would have built on top of that. But I just never really seen that in their eyes. Not once, not ever. Not when they were kids, and certainly not now when they're about to go to college and taking this bold step of picking what they want to do for the big chunk of their lives. And then I just tell them what I see so that they can perhaps see it for themselves and then start looking at possibilities of what's ahead of them. And then if it's not tech, so what? I mean, do I even like tech, or have I just come to like it? I know that's a lot to unpack, but how do you actually know when you like something? It is challenging to figure out what you like, especially when you're young. But I can guarantee you it has nothing to do with age. I mean, I still struggle with it. And my friends were in this glorious time of our mid-40s. And I kid you not, we struggle all the time in still figuring out what we like. The feeling of liking something is quite complicated. And I think the problem is that we were exposed to the idea that liking something is supposed to feel happy. It's supposed to give us joy. And of course, you need to enjoy what you're doing. But that's not always the case. Nobody walks around smiling all day just because they're doing what they like. I mean, we're not on a set, we're not on Instagram. And do I always smile while I'm coding? Do I always end my day feeling happy after I shut down my computer? Believe me, I couldn't even count the times when I turned into a hideous monster while I'm fixing a bug. And does that mean I don't like tech? I don't think so. And you know how I know? It's because the next day, I'm pretty sure, and this always happens, that the next day I just can't wait to open my computer again and get back to fixing that issue that I was so frustrated the night before. And like I said, liking is complicated. Sometimes liking something also gives you so much pain that you want to give it up. But you have to do a self-check. Am I hurting because what I'm doing is too difficult and that no one appreciates me and that I make so many mistakes that somehow it makes me feel so incompetent? Or am I hurting and sad because what I'm doing doesn't resonate with what I value anymore? We tend to like doing something that reflects what we value. Like for me, I value solving problems for other people. I genuinely feel happy whenever I'm in user interviews and I listen to people and listen to them talk about how they want to solve a certain problem. And I feel happy knowing that deep down I can help with that problem just because I know how to code. And I also value giving opportunities. I grew up in a community where people are less privileged, sometimes even less privileged than my own family. I was not rich. My friends weren't rich. There was so much poverty around me that it had a profound impact in what I chose to do. Now I live in a rich country and I've seen firsthand how much difference it can make to your life. And then can I use my tech skill and leverage that to be able to give the same opportunity to someone else? Perhaps, and that makes me like what I do even more. But the thing is, we also have to understand that life is just not fair. Some of us have very limited choices, very limited options, and we don't always get the privilege to do what we like, which also resonates with our values. Sometimes we just have to make a choice. Sometimes we end up in a tougher situation where we have to choose to do something that we don't necessarily enjoy. But we need to ask ourselves a deeper question. Is this thing that I'm currently doing, no matter how difficult or boring or so far from my original interest, is this thing that I'm doing still ultimately reflects or impacts what I value? If the answer is yes, why not give it a try? Give it your best shot. And before you dig a dark hole of permanent unhappiness, perhaps you will find out that you will come to enjoy this anyways. You will come to enjoy this choice because it's a way for you to achieve what you value, whether it's a good life for yourself or it's a good life for your family or an opportunity for other people. I promise you, someday your heart will tell you that there's a deeper joy behind these choices. Whenever I feel like stopping what I'm doing because it doesn't feel good at the moment, I stop and ask myself, am I still doing this because it allows me to solve problems or it allows me to provide opportunities to other people? And almost always the answer is yes. After a couple of days, I find myself enjoying looking at my code again or debugging my database queries, and it comes back. And then I'm in my happy place again. Maybe not always, but most of the time. If one day the answer to this question become a resounding no, if that time comes after still knowing that working in tech allows me to bring value to this world, and yet no matter what I do, I just don't feel the joy anymore, then I know it's time to quit. As for my kids, who are not kids anymore but young adults, well, they can't quit what they haven't started yet, right? So they better start figuring out what they value in this world and what value can they give in return. I really enjoyed doing this video together with my daughter, so I hope you enjoyed watching it. And if you want to listen to more of our stories, please subscribe to my channel and share it to your friends.